Only 30% of the people who enter the disability system ever get disability. Tell us why you think that happens.
The system is based on protecting the employer. So when you're protecting the employer, they're going in with a notion that people are trying to, for lack of a better word, game them or get off work. So therefore, it's a situation where the employer is doubting that injury occurred no matter what. Bottom line is, you get hurt, you have to prove that you were hurt.
So if I get hurt on the job, take me through the general steps of what happens between me and the first check I would get for disability.
Well, first and foremost, you have to prove that the injury that you're complaining about occurred on their watch at work. So, documentation.
So people delay the documentation or even reporting it to the job.
Or even reporting it because they're not sure, because they're a new hired, they're afraid that they may lose their job, and unfortunately, throughout the system, that's the biggest situation. They may have a legitimate injury, but they're afraid if they report that injury, they may not have a job anymore at all. It's not always that easy. If you have a legitimate injury, first and foremost, some people you have to directly call human resources or your supervisor. And then they will direct you to be seen by their official physician, the company doctor. So the first place is, after you report an injury, you have to see whoever they tell you to go see.
All right, let's assume that you go see this individual and they say, I don't like this, you don't have much of an injury, and I don't feel that you need to be on disability. What does the next process look like?
80% or more of the doctors at that occupational clinic, they stay in business by sending people back to work.
Right.
So they're going to say, whatever it is, it was a strain, it ain't that serious, here's some restrictions, ticket, go back to work. Okay, now, person goes back to work, they can't work. Well, then they go back to the, again, company doctor, and they give you some physical therapy, but again saying modified duties or return to work. So we get the check when you are temporarily, totally disabled. The system says if your employer can modify your work in any way, shape, or form, even have you be a greeter out to the front door, you don't get a check. When they can't modify your work, then you're temporarily, totally disabled. And then that's when you will get disability payment. It's a med-legal system. And bottom line is, we're physicians, we talk about medical problems, but it's the legal system that runs the organization.
So how long am I going to get my disability check?
Or whatever injury has a profile. 3 weeks disability, 3 months disability. Once you meet, everything is time limited.
Right.
So your disability will go till, for the nature of your injury, once that time limit is fixed for that injury, that's when your check
Well, what if I'm totally disabled?
Totally disabled means that you can't do the job that you were doing when you were injured.
Right.
And a totally disabled individual will only get 2 years.
2 years.
2 years. After 2 years, you're able to go on state disability.
And you have to go through another process.
So that's another process. State disability is only going to last, again, for maybe a year or so. And then that money runs dry.